Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As you can see, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Jarryd. How in the hell are you doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Happy Thursday.
Hey, happy Thursday. The final Thursday in the final episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast of 2022.
2022.
And, it's been an absolute blast. Before we get started actually talking about the sports and stuff, I want to ask you a question, since obviously this is the final episode, and we might be doing this throughout the show. You know, we might do this at the end as well. In the 2022 calendar year, what was your personal favorite sports moment? It don't have to be Pittsburgh Steelers or Pittsburgh. It could be anything. What was your favorite sports moment of 2022?
Seeing Aaron Judge hitting the second 60-second home run.
Okay.
Well deserved. MVP.
I'm actually going to tweet this out right now. What was your favorite sports moments of 2022? Tweet. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to think, what was my favorite sports moment of 2022? This is interesting. I think for me, I don't even know. Like, I was the one that asked the question, and I don't even know the answer to it. Usually, if the person that's asking has they would already have this thought out and have an answer. I would probably have to say Oscar Gonzalez hitting the walk-off home run in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series against the Rays, which I was at in the 15th inning.
Oh my God, I remember that went for so long.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Hate that song now.
Oh, I love it. It's great. And you know what's even funnier now is, there was a kid that got famous because he was actively going to playoff games, and there were people a part of Guardian's Twitter who were buying this kid tickets to playoff games, so because he was strictly wearing SpongeBob gear, he was wearing a whole SpongeBob outfit.
That's crazy.
Hey, you gotta love it though. You gotta love it. Now let's get into this game from Saturday, actually, not Sunday. And, wow. Obviously some bad, but definitely at the end of the day, you come out with a win. Kenny Pickett proving some doubters wrong.
Damn right.
This ended up being the last straw for Derek Carr in Las Vegas. This game was one, and obviously it was a very emotional game. Obviously, the whole thing with Franco Harris and the Immaculate Reception, them doing the tribute, which, by the way, bad job by the NFL Network for hyping this all up throughout the week, and then they go to commercial at a time when they're getting ready to play a tribute video in the stadium. You would think that they were actually play that on the television too, but instead they go to commercial break. So yeah, bad job by bad job by the NFL Network by that, which that really pissed off a lot of people.
Oh, a lot of people. I was one of them. I wanted to see something.
Yeah. But other than that, there was definitely some good. Obviously, it was nice to see Kenny Pickett actually come and actually go and prove some of the doubters wrong. Go back to the Miami game. He had 2 chances to be clutch in there, threw interceptions on both occasions. So it was nice to actually see Kenny Pickett in the 2-minute drill with the game on the line, being down, where it wasn't the game was tied and it's okay, if he doesn't get it, you have an extra chance. No, they were down. If they don't go down and score a touchdown, game over, you lose, you're out of the playoffs in that emotional of a game. So it was nice to actually see him run the 2-minute drill and actually find a way. that play, that the throw that he made to George Pickens very well could have been intercepted, but he put some zip on that thing. And I think there was definitely some questions that were answered from that game on Saturday. Playing in the cold. How is he going to react to playing in that kind of cold? We saw that. Again, I mean, being able to see him actually go and continue to grow and play as a player, it was nice to see. As Steel Black says, I know people will hate me. I just want us to lose out so people can stop being delusional. I just want us to stop wasting TJ and everyone. This time the draft is going to be a home run. See, here's my thing, and I've been back and forth on this. I've been back and forth on, do I want them to lose for the draft picks, or do I want them to win for the playoffs? And for me, I mean, right now, I'll be completely honest. Right now, in this particular moment, it's bleep them picks, get me to the playoffs.
Because of Saturday.
And I think part of that was because, and this is a week-by-week thing. I mean, we were feeling completely different coming out of that first Baltimore game. We felt completely different. And now, for us, now we have the chance. Now, when you really look at the scenario, it's not as much as it really comes out to be in terms of what you need to have happen to make the playoffs. I just think it would be nice. Like, on one hand, yes, you would like to have the better draft picks. But at the end of the day, it would also be nice to get your rookie quarterback some sort of playoff experience early. It would be nice to continue to get some of these guys playoff experience. And who the hell knows? What does Mike Tomlin say? You never know what happens once you get to the single game elimination tournament. You never know. But it's just, right now, and I'm not going to be the person to say that, like Steel Black says, he wants to, he would rather have them lose out for the better of the draft picks. I'm not going to say that's loser mentality on him. He's a fan. He's allowed to do that. We're allowed to do that as media/fans. We're allowed to do that. The players can't. They cannot have that mentality. Because if you do, that's when things go out of hand, and those are not the players that you want in your locker room. And Steel Black also says, this might be the Ravens game where Lamar is, for the last time he's a Raven. Well, it looks like he's not going to play in this game again.
Yeah, he did not practice again today.
For I think the 11th straight practice, he has not practiced. This whole thing when it comes to Kenny Pitt, or when it comes to Lamar Jackson, is becoming very interesting, because if I'm Lamar Jackson, this is one of the worst case scenarios you could have happen. Now, this is not like a torn ACL or anything like that, but it's still an injury in a year where you have not had the greatest of years. And we all know that the owner of the Ravens, they really do not want to give Lamar a long-term deal. Obviously, once Deshaun Watson in Cleveland got that $230 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed deal, you knew that was going to be a trend where players were going to start wanting a lot more guaranteed or fully guaranteed deals. Lamar Jackson wanted a fully guaranteed deal. Obviously, that was not going to happen. And especially now, if you're Baltimore, you're lowering your offer than what you had it before. Say, for example, you had it at $200 million. Now you're dropping that to what? 175? 170?
Or do you think he's going to take it?
If that's all he can get, then he has to. But the thing
that's all he can get.
Or do we think that he's going to possibly get franchise tagged? That's a possibility. And here goes Hunter. Lamar Jackson is a Cleveland Brown. He will play running back. Here you go. So you're saying that you would want him over Nick Chubb?
Yeah, right.
Steel Black says, I know, but I don't want to watch a blowout in the first round and miss out on good future talent, but maybe we win a playoff game. I will be impressed if Pickett beats the Chiefs or the Bengals Bengals in the playoffs is our best bet. Also, we might be eliminated before our game. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. We could go into that happened last year with our game against Cleveland. Cleveland, they found, the night before, they were eliminated from the playoffs. So going throughout the week, they were going into that Monday night game in it, and then something, whatever scenario had happened, didn't fall through, and then they were eliminated before that game. That very well could be the case. But we also know with the way that the players play for Mike Tomlin, and we all know the way that Mike Tomlin is, there is not a chance it will be a cold day in hell before the Steelers will ever try to purposely lose games for draft picks or think of anything that is not winning that football game.
Yeah, they're gonna fight to win every week. That's how it is.
Hunter says if he's offered 175 million, he will absolutely not take it. He will get franchised. If they lowball him like that, he'll leave. I could see him holding out until he gets traded. If Baltimore won't give him 225 to 230, some other team absolutely will, and it probably even more than that. So here's my thought process on this. If I'm Lamar Jackson, obviously, yes, you would like to get 225 to 230. But if I'm looking at this from a GM perspective or from a team's perspective, I'm looking at, how old is he right now? 20?
Season is mid-20s, maybe close to 24.
Still mid-20s. Lamar Jackson age. Because now I'm curious here. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Okay, so he's only 25. Okay. So he'll be 26 in January. Okay. So that would lead him. So he signed a 5-year deal. That leads him until he's about 31. So if I'm looking at this from a GM's perspective or from a team's perspective, because obviously you look at some of these long-term contracts with quarterbacks, and there's some that I personally think there could possibly be Arizona might already have buyer's remorse on Kyler Murray. Now, for me personally, that might be harsh for me to say because I'm also not a fan of Kyler Murray. I haven't been at all since before he came into the NFL. I have not been a fan of Kyler Murray. And I personally thought that was a great contract for Kyler Murray. Don't get me wrong. I salute you for getting the bag. But I just don't, I don't know. When you're investing that much money into the most important position in the game, you have to have full proof or full confidence that he's going to be available and the fact that he's going to play at a high level. Lamar Jackson has not been healthy the last couple years. With the way that his play style is, do you trust him enough as a passer to where if he has to rely on his passing ability, do you trust him enough to pay 225 to 230? If you question, even if you have to question that for a second, that's where these GMs have to look at things. Because here's my thing too, and I don't know how your thoughts on this are. And I know me and Hunter, we've had this conversation before with some of our other friends about, because you obviously, when you think of Lamar Jackson, you obviously think of Michael Vick. That's always with the way that their play style is. Lamar Jackson is a better passer than Michael Vick. I think we could all agree on that. Because when you really break it down, Michael Vick's completion percentage was not that good. It was below 60%.
He was not.
He was not that. He had a pretty deep ball, but he wasn't as accurate with the football, with his passes. So my thing is, when it comes to Lamar, I personally think that he's going to get franchise tagged. I don't know if I'm a team, I don't know. I'm very weary about wanting to give Lamar Jackson 225 to 230. I don't know.
It's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money. Derpy, what's good? He says, hear me out. I'd rather just tank the last game for better picks if the Steelers lose against the Ravens. So yeah, so you're kind of in the same way with Steel Black. All right. So, and yes, obviously, if you're completely out of the playoffs, then whatever. If we come to find out that you're out of the playoffs, then all right, whatever. I mean, personally, the only reason why I wouldn't want to lose that last game is because I live in Cleveland and I don't want to hear about that for the next 8 months. Because Hunter is one of them. He will give it to me like crazy. Pause.
That means that they swept us if they beat us.
I don't want to have to deal with that. But, and also at the same time, it would be nice to beat Deshaun Watson because, oh yeah, I would become insufferable when that happens. Not if, when that happens. Back to the regularly scheduled programming. But
before you go back with Deshaun Watson, win or lose, doesn't matter to me. It's his first couple games back.
Oh no! So I actually had this discussion today. I was at the Scar Shop and I had this discussion with someone, and obviously, well, yes, it is fun for us as non-Browns fans to, talk trash about Deshaun Watson. But at the end of the day, if we're going to be realistic here, at the end of the day, this is basically one big giant preseason for the Browns for the last 6 games with the slightest of possibilities that they could make the playoffs at that time, going into that. And, you heard rumblings about Kevin Stefanski possibly getting fired. And they're saying that he's going to be safe. I do agree with that. I don't think that he should be fired. I do think that he deserves a full offseason with Deshaun that's not going to be all chaos infested. I do agree with that. But at the end of the day, I mean, yes, obviously it's going to be fun. It's always going to be fun to watch Deshaun Watson lose. It's always going to be great. But at the end of the day, for them, fans had to be realistic. They weren't going to be realistic because that's what we do as fans. I mean, for God's sakes, we had fans think we were going to go 10-7 this year. Now that we obviously have the chance of going 9-8, but that's also very thin. That could also happen. And also, when you look at some of these games, we could very well be a whole lot worse. So
it is what it is.
And Derpy says, and I know everyone wants an even record for Tomlin, but with the progression of the team this season, we could use that for better luck. But, I mean, if it happens, though, which it won't. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, as Jarryd goes to continue to eat, this is what sometimes you got to do. Circumstances, Jarryd just got a new job starting today. Congratulations to you and all your success.
Yeah, I'm out of time to eat, so if you see me off the camera, I'm just grabbing a bite, and then I'll get back to the topic.
It happens. I don't blame you. It happens. But no, obviously, yes, it would be. But and actually, what Derpy says leads into another topic that I kind of want to get into when it comes to Mike Tomlin. Because, and I'll ask this now, and everyone in the comments, I want you to answer this as well. And obviously, Jarryd, of course, I want you to answer it, obviously. If the Steelers were to win the next 2 games and they are 9-8, will you consider that a good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers and for Mike Tomlin?
Yes and no.
You gotta give me one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotta give me one.
I gotta see how the game goes.
See, no,
the end of the season.
No.
I don't know right now. It's as of right now, it hasn't been a good season.
Okay.
As of right now, but with Kenny's progression, for him, his season is getting better. That's what I'm gonna say. As a whole team, no. The defense, highest paid defense, is terrible. It's garbage. Gonna have to say. Offense. You already know what the offense. I don't need to get into the offense. As a team, no, not a good season.
Okay, Steel Black says, good for the rookies, bad for the rest. Okay. I'm actually putting this on Twitter. If the Steelers were to end up 9-8 this season, will this be a, quote, good season for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers? Question mark. Put up the poll. Yes. No. Goodbye. Tweet. Here we go. Okay. So tweet is out. I'll be reading the comments throughout. Whenever we do, get some comments or update that throughout. For me, I think even if you go 9-8, part of me, what really has been bothering me this whole season has been the way that he handled the quarterback thing back in the training camp. Because, and I think I tweeted this out back in like July or something. And it's ironic because, Hunter, if you're in here, you'll you'll understand exactly what I'm getting to. It was very 2018 Browns Hugh Jackson-ish. And the reason why I say that was Hugh Jackson back in 2018 was very, very, very hell-bent on giving Tyrod Taylor, all the reps with the ones. And he was going to be the starting quarterback. And Baker Mayfield did not. It's kind of the same thing that happened here with Mike Tomlin and the quarterbacks situation. Now, this is obviously the first time with Mike Tomlin being a head coach where he really had to go through something like this with the quarterbacks. Because, obviously, throughout his whole entire time, he had Ben Roethlisberger, except for 2019, was like, all right, well, then you just throw in Mason Rudolph. That was the backup. Okay, that's a different story. This is the first time he's had to deal with this. And for me, I did not like the fact that he did not give his rookie quarterback any reps with the ones. I understand that you want to get Mitch Trubisky. If you believe that he was going to be the starting quarterback in week 1, Mitch Trubisky, okay, yes, you do want to get him reps. But at the end of the day, I still think that at some point, Kenny Pickett's going to come in and take over. Whether Mike Tomlin wanted to admit it or not, that was going to be the case. Because we all know if Mike Tomlin had if it was up to him, we would not have seen a single snap of Kenny Pickett, maybe outside of that Bills game when we were getting blown out. He wanted Mitch Trubisky to be the quarterback. He would want Mitch Trubisky to be the quarterback right now. So, but at the end of the day, you have to get your rookie quarterback. You got to get him NFL ready. You got to get him chemistry with his receivers. He did not do that. And I forget what receiver it was. It might have been Deontay. Whether it was this week or last week, he made a comment saying that the chemistry is starting to go there. He's starting to understand the game better. He's starting to click more with his receivers in the way that he's throwing the ball and anticipating throws. He was not able to do that because that second half against the Jets was really the first time that he's thrown to those guys. That's what's really bothered me. That's the one thing that really trickles in the back of my head and that bothers me a lot was the way that he handled that back in training camp back in July.
Yeah, it was not done properly. They should have really went by how the preseason went. Well, you can't really judge off preseason. You got to give Mitch had a short leash. He had to be, after you saw the first couple games, it was rough. And then when you hear the Steelers Nation go crazy calling for Kenny at a game, that's when you decide, all right, I got to throw him in because, I can't have this too much heat on him because imagine if this kept happening during the season. I bet it would just gotten a lot worse if Mitch kept playing and playing.
Look at week 1. It took a heroic effort from the defense to get 5 turnovers from one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL to squeak out a game that went to overtime. And then you have the game that obviously we were at. We were at the Patriots game. Things did not look out well there. Week 3 against the Browns. Did not work out. He has a couple nice throws, but it still did not work out all that well there. Then obviously the Jets game. Then that was the last straw. And obviously, we had the report that came out saying that
I think he knows now that he is the backup in the NFL, unless some other team wants him to be a starter, which is possible. But
I mean,
that's like I said, if. But he's a backup quarterback. He can make some. Everybody can make some throws. Not everybody. A lot of people can make some throws in the game.
I think teams would rather have Baker Mayfield right now than Mitch Trubisky, if we're being completely honest here.
Yeah, look at him in the Rams right now.
Like I said, that the way that he handled that bothers me. And all right, real quick, we got a couple votes. 90%. I'm very surprised by this. 90% say that if we ended up 9-8, this would be a good season for the Steelers. And then we have one comment saying, I wouldn't say good, more like meeting expectations. Not a bad season either, though. So, with him saying more like meeting expectations, and we always hear, what's the saying? The standard is the standard. So, has the standard become barely getting above 500?
Hell no. Standard is a Super Bowl. That's the standard.
The standard is exactly. So if that's the case, then we're off, and that is not a good look whatsoever.
As a team, it's not good. As for player development, it's good for some players, not everybody, of course.
And obviously, yes, and going into 2023, we're going to have higher expectations, because if the Steelers were to get to 9-8, then, and say even if you don't make the playoffs and you're at 9-8, it's like, okay, you went above 500, so that continues the streak for Mike Tomlin. I mean, we've seen this happen before. I mean, there was a couple years where I think 2013, they were 5-8, squeak out 3 wins in the final, and they become 8-8, not a losing season. And then you'll have sometimes like 2019 where they were 8-5, lose 3 games, go 8-8. So it's, I don't know. I don't like when, I mean, obviously for fans, fans could say whatever, but I don't like the fact that this whole thing with the standard being the standard of barely getting above 500. No, when has that ever been the standard in Pittsburgh?
You know what the standard is. Most people should know what the standard is. Win the Super Bowl. We don't rebuild, as everyone says. We reload.
And, I mean, hell, I think, what's his name? Deontay Johnson, I think he actually used the word rebuild this year in a press conference.
He did.
We all knew that this was the case. And if you're a rebuilding team going 9-8, then okay, congratulations. But now I'm going to want to see something in 2023. I'm going to want to see something. I want to see
wins.
Year 2 of Kenny Pickett. I want to see year 2 of George Pickens. I want to see year 3 of Najee Harris. I want to see the continuation of the development of growth. You know what? I just had this thought. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens after next year with Alex Highsmith. Because Alex Highsmith is, I could partially see them. I don't know. I don't see them wanting to trade them next year, because who do you have behind them that would be ready? Listen, obviously there's some weird thing that goes on to where Will Anderson drops to where they're at, and I did just pick him. Other than that, I just don't. But at the end of the day, you know that they're not going to pay him. But I don't see them paying the kind of money that, I mean, if he goes out and has another maybe 10-sack year, then the team's going to want to pay him. He's a pass rusher. They're going to want to pay him. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it being in Pittsburgh for obvious reasons. But, in fact, I want to look this up real quick.
Is he a free agent next year, or is it the following year? Or after this season, or the following?
He's in year 3.
So.
In fact, here, I want to look something up here because I just had this comparison. Alex Highsmith. And obviously, I love Alex Highsmith. Shout out to his father. Shout out to Sam. Let's see here. Pro Football Reference here. I want to look this because I want to compare his stats to a certain player who I think has been a similar deal. Let's see. Because you know what his kind of career has kind of reminded me of a little bit is Bradley Chubb. And you saw what Miami gave up to get him. And the kind of money that he's getting.
Being productive, right?
So Bradley Chubb, now obviously Bradley Chubb has more, he has 2 more years under his belt. Alex Highsmith is averaging 0.4 sacks per game. Bradley Chubb, 0.5. Both averaging 0.1 forced fumbles per game. Alex Highsmith has been in a playoff game. Bradley Chubb has not. Let's see, sacks. So Alex Highsmith has 20 sacks. Bradley Chubb has 28.5 sacks with 2 more years on him. And you saw how much Miami gave up to get him and how much they paid him. There's going to be a team that wants to pay Alex Highsmith high money to be a pass rusher. And that's just simply not going to be in Pittsburgh.
Unfortunately not, unless he wants a hometown discount.
And I don't think you can say hometown discount. The only yes, this was the team that he drafted. The only team that you would even remotely think about him doing that for was Carolina because he's from there. That was his team growing up.
Well, I don't think he's going to Carolina. It's possible, but I don't think he'll go to Carolina.
Brian Burns would be kind of nice, along with Derek Brown on the inside. Oh, that would be a nasty D-line. That would be a nasty D-line. But no.
Carolina has a lot of problems they got to fix.
Yeah, they do have a lot. First things foremost is maybe go and get themselves a QB. Because, Sam Darnold, no. That's got to be they got to go and get themselves a quarterback. But no, we kind of got off topic here. And I want to get back to this Raiders-Steelers game for a minute before we continue on. So, I'm looking at some of the stuff. You're obviously watching the game. Now, one thing that I did not like was 5 of 14 on third down. Compared to what we had just saw against Carolina, not good. Carolina, you were phenomenal on third down. 5 of 14 on third down, not good. 2 for 2 on fourth down. You like to see that. 350 yards of total offense. That's kind of nice compared to the Las Vegas Raiders, 201 yards of total offense. So defense is stepping up there. 6.3 yards per pass. Okay, you're getting some, it's a little bit higher than what we've seen. 106 on the ground. That's nice to see. You were 1 for 1 in the red zone. That was nice. Penalties, 3 for 35. If you only have 3 penalties, you would like to obviously see that be lower, even lower, but 3's not terrible. You win the time of possession, and then obviously the biggest foremost, you win the turnover margin 3-1. So you're +2 in the turnover. Those were some positives. Negatives, death, taxes, and somehow, some way, giving up the deep ball. Somehow, some way.
A corner is needed so badly.
Oh, man. That first drive, once that first drive happened, I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, Franco.
It could be a long day.
I was like, Franco, I wish you were still here, but I don't want you to be here if you got to watch this. If we're going to tribute you to this, listen, you don't deserve that kind of tribute. That's my thoughts going after this first drive. And then after that, obviously, it just, you hold them to 0 points in the second half. And then have them go, you go and continue to score. It was one of those games where you were down 10-6 at one point, but it still felt like a 2-possession game. It was just like the Week 18 game last year against the Ravens. We were down less. It was like, I don't know, 10-6. It might have been the same exact thing. but it felt like one of those games where you were down 2 possessions because it felt like you weren't going to be able to get in the end zone. It felt like you were going to have to get 2 field goals. But it was very nice to see.
Boswell missed a couple, unfortunately. So
Boswell missed a couple, but I can't be mad at him, especially that second one. That second one I was really pissed off about because I did not like the decision whatsoever. In fact, I was hoping to get a tweet out before then, but what the kick ended up happening. But I had a tweet saying, "Listen, I did not like that decision whatsoever. It's a 52-yard field goal. It's 4th and 4
in the cold.
It's in that tweener zone. Obviously, yes, we know that Chris Boswell can hit that, but with the way that those winds were swirling, no. I would much rather maybe just go and give them a shot, and then because what does 10-3 to 10-6 do for you? Like, it's not like I don't know. I did not like that decision whatsoever. Now it was nice at the very next possession. Obviously, Derek Carr threw his second interception of the game. Shout out to Minka for that one.
It was huge.
Yeah. But, I mean, defense once again came out. They came out and was clutch for us. They came down the stretch, and they won some. And you know what was nice, too, and this is something that I've noticed. There's been a lot of games where the Steelers have held their opponents to 17 points or less, and they lost them. Week 2 against the Patriots, 17 points. Steelers couldn't win that game. Obviously, Miami, 16 points. You only was able to score 10. Let's see what else. Miami, obviously, you held them to 17, they win. The Falcons, you held them to 16 points and you won. And then Baltimore, the defense held them to 16 points. You only were able to get 14. So, I mean, it was nice to see the defense, play well, and then the Steelers the offense actually find a way to win the football game.
That's what it is this season. But defense has to be consistent every week. That's the problem.
Which has not been the case. I mean, this week, for the most part, yes, 3 turnovers. That was nice. Carolina, you let them get back in it late, but for the most part, that was the defense played well. Baltimore, you got scorched on the ground. Not good. Falcons, you played pretty well in that game. You were there. Indianapolis, you committed you were able to get some turnovers there. Obviously, Cincinnati, yeah, you gave up about 37 of them bad boys. And then obviously the Saints, well, let's be honest, they're the Saints.
They're the Saints.
They're the Saints. But yeah, overall, I was happy with that game. At the end of the day, obviously, yes, we got the result. It was nice to have a victory Christmas Sunday. It was nice.
That's all that matters.
It was a victory Christmas Sunday. That was nice. It was nice to be able to wake up because I actually I worked Christmas morning. Shot that time and a half. But I was actually able to get up, stretch, feel nice because the Steelers won. The Browns had lost. Oh, it was great. They were eliminated. We were not. It was a great day.
It is.
It was a great. Okay, so I want to make a comparison, and I want you to ask me, or I want you to answer whether, I want your opinion on this. I'm getting ready to make a comparison of Kenny Pickett to Tua Tagovailoa. You might be able to guess where I'm going with this.
Just the injury-wise, that's the only thing I can think of. The concussion-wise.
Concussions, that's exactly it. And the reason why I'm getting ready to make this comparison. So Tua has had, in the Miami Dolphins case, his second concussion. But we all know damn well this is his third of the year. I mean, so Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, he went on 93.7 The Fan and said, he doesn't know if Kenny Pickett or if Tua Tagovailoa is going to play football again. Because of when you have 3 concussions in a year, hey, B, that's not that good. That's not good. And on top of that, when you look at a lot of the history of the brain issues that players have had in the past, he's young, man. He still has a whole life to live. I understand that he's a warrior. I understand he's a gamer. He wants to play. But I don't know. 3 concussions in a year, man? In reality, in a football year. We're talking in a 6-month span.
It's not good.
And when you look at Kenny Pickett, he's coming back from his second. He had his second. Pat Freiermuth, same guy, same situation. He had a couple in a span of like 3 weeks. If I'm a Steeler fan, I'm going to keep this in a little locker in the back of my head, thinking, let's hope that he doesn't continue to have this issue, because you could see him having a short career if that ends up being the case.
You hope so, but that means you have to rely. It has to be the offensive line has to do a better job.
That's part of it.
Not that's part of it, but not
I get,
the whole reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not 1,000,000% of it. It's obviously part of it is also play style. There's the way that we saw him go down against the Baltimore Ravens. That was a play where he continued to fight. He wasn't going to give himself up. He wanted to make a play. And obviously, Roquan Smith made the play, did what he did. And that ended up causing the concussion or whatever. But another thing, too, that came out of this whole Tua thing, because Tua has been the player that has been linked the most to concussions. Obviously, because the whole viral video came out from the game against, I think, Buffalo. I think it was against Buffalo when he had that incident happen. And then obviously the game against the Bengals where he got hurt and and then he got carted off. That was a primetime game. That wasn't a Sunday 1 o'clock game. That was a game that everyone was watching. So that's going to cause some uproar. And it caused some more uproar this Sunday against the Packers. Another similar hit where he got hit, head bounces off the ground. Similar to what happened in Cincinnati. And now what's happening again? People are questioning the concussion protocol with the NFL. I hate to admit this. I just don't simply think... They'll make it look like things are changing, but I don't see that happening. I just don't. We saw for a 2-week span, maybe 3-week span, where teams were making a big deal, and it just kind of seems like they go back to doing what they were doing before. That was why when Kenny Pickett got hurt against, and he got ruled out against Carolina, I did not want to see him, even if he was cleared. And I know our boy Frick, he kind of was like, you should trust the medical professionals here. Well, yes, I understand that, but this is also a PR thing as well. I don't think it would be a good look for, in the year that could possibly label the year of concussions, have it to where you have a player, a young quarterback, have 2 concussions in the span of maybe 8 weeks, and both times he was cleared before. So that's kind of where I took things from when it came to that.
I get it. They're medical professionals, and it's everyone's it's opinion. How it is. The NFL, they'll do what's best for them. That's how I see it.
You know what else would be best for someone else too? The Steelers getting rid of Matt Canada, because there is a chance that might be happening. Thank you to the Lord. I'm going to start now. Lord, football gods, I'm going to pray to you. Can we please let Matt Canada go? Please, let's hope that Mike Tomlin doesn't look at the second half of the year and say, oh, you know what, things are going to start going a little bit better. Maybe we'll actually keep him for his last year. Maybe we should do that. No. Can we please let go of his sorry ass, of his Saturday-ish offense, which really should be more like Friday-ish offense? Please, for the love of God. Amen. Thank you.
Find out after when the season's over. I'll tell you that.
So obviously, yes, there was a report that there's been some rumblings coming out saying that the Steelers will let go of Matt Canada. But here's where I become skeptical about this. It's ironic that I just recently was gifted this book from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Here's what's ironic about that. You have two different reporters who work for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. You got Ray Fittipaldo. You got Jarryd Dulac. Jarryd Dulac will say, hold off on the Matt Canada being gone after this year wave. Then you got Ray Fittipaldo saying, yeah, he is good as gone. And obviously, when they work for the same publisher, they work for the same company, you would think that their sources would be very similar. You would think. Now, we all know that there's probably some people in the front office that didn't think that Matt Canada should have been back this year. But why was he back this year? One name, Mike Tomlin. I would love to actually see the Rudy family say, Mike Tomlin, nice experiment and all, but Matt Canada, you better show him the door. Get someone else in here. Here's a list of guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Get out of my office. That's what I would love to have happen. But will that... Obviously, we all know that's not going to happen. And we also know what the Rooneys don't like to do is pay coaches to not work. There are some coaches that will be more than willing to do that. Pay $1 million, say, go away, goodbye, get out of here. Now, the Rooney family, you would think, well, maybe why don't some of the minority owners, they have deep pockets. Because then you would think, they might have some input on things. The Rooneys don't want that. The Rooneys know damn well that the only input that they care about is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at.
It is very possible that he's gone after this season. But like I said, I need to wait and see it before seeing these reports coming out. Last 2 weeks of the season, all of a sudden. I got to wait to see it.
Yeah.
If they get rid of him, it better be right after, we're right into the offseason. I don't need to wait till March. I don't need to wait till April. I need it right away so you can get a new OC.
Listen, you should see my Twitter drafts right now. They're cooked up. Stir up the pot. James Harden. They are ready to go. I am ready to fire on all cylinders if they are to let go of Matt Country up north. They are ready to go. I might also have to get some tweets ready for it in case his ass actually comes back in 2023. There is absolutely one situation where I would be okay with Matt Canada coming back in 2023. And that is if they somehow, someway were to win the Super Bowl. Because if they were to somehow, someway win the Super Bowl, that must mean the offense was doing absolutely something right in the playoffs.
If we make it.
But when you have an analyst, when you have a borderline Hall of Famer wide receiver in Steve Smith say on multiple occasions that your offense is Saturday-ish, which what I said is I think that's actually too much of a compliment. It might be more of Friday-ish. That is not a good look. And at the end of the day,
a jet seat worked last week.
I can't believe. I think I tweeted this exact. I said I cannot believe a jet sweep to Connor Hayward. No disrespect to Connor Hayward, we all love him, but I can't believe a jet sweep to Connor Hayward. That was actually a nice play call. It caught everyone off guard. No one is expecting no one on their Steelers Raiders bingo card had a jet sweep to Connor Hayward on there. I don't think that was So yes, that was actually a good play call. I like that. And I can't believe it actually worked and they sealed us the game.
The one time out of how many times?
I mean, they actually had another one. I think it was it in this game or was it the Carolina game where they had a jet, or that might have been the only jet sweep they had.
I thought that was the only jet sweep I remember seeing.
I was gonna say maybe I'm thinking of the 22-yard jet sweep that they had to Steven Sims. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I'm praying to the love of God. Can we please? Also, Derrick Henry officially inactive tonight for the Titans. So that is something that just came out for those who have quote unquote skin in the game. But yeah, other than that, I mean, obviously, talk about Sunday real quick. Hey, it's plain and simple. Stop the run. Please do what you gotta do. Stop the run and win the damn football game. That is my...
Don't let J.K. Dobbins do it again.
Do not let... Hey, listen, I am an Ohio State fan. I got to hear this all the time when Gus Johnson used to say, J.K. all day. Don't get me wrong. I used to love that then. I do not need to hear that kind of thing now. No, it needs to be J.K. Hell no. That is what we need a whole lot of on Sunday.
Going against Huntley.
Again.
Remember. Again.
Shouldn't
be hard.
Should not be hard. Come on. Can we please stop the run? For the love of God. I'm begging you. I would get on my knees right now. Pause. But at the end of the day... pause. Time out. I would get in a praying position and pray to you. Can we please stop this run game? Can we please stop Tyler freaking Huntley, for God's sakes? Please. Thank you. That is where I'm at right now.
We'll see what happens. We'll find out if we're still in or not at that time.
Steel Black says, if the draft was today, who would your set pick be?
Oof, I know my answer.
Go ahead.
I want Christian Gonzalez from Oregon.
I think for me right now,
if you guys don't know,
going to be between. I'm down to like 2 or 3.
It's either Paris Johnson, Christian Gonzalez, if Peter Skoronski is still there, or Broderick Jones.
I think for me right now it's going, and I think one of these picks, if we could somehow get them with, what's crazy is the Steelers have the possibility of having the first pick of the second round. Because there is a scenario where the Chicago Bears could be the first overall pick.
If that happens,
I don't think that this player would make it there, but if somehow, some way he would, I would love to see him there. Joey Porter Jr., of course. Another guy that you mentioned, I would love to see Peter Skoronski. That is, I think right now, him, and then of course, obviously there's Paris Johnson, of course, Buckeye in me. But right now, I think, and I'll have to, once I get more into looking into these guys, but yeah, right now it's really between. Obviously, Kaylee Ringo would be nice. Would be an interesting thing to talk about.
Oh, but Christian Gonzalez, man, that tape. I know you haven't seen it, but man, that guy he's a ball. He could play. He's a good all-around corner.
This dude Daniel says booted up the hub and it sent me here. WTF? Oh, Daniel, you are stupid. And then Seal Black says Joey Porter Jr. and DT out of Baylor for me.
I think that's Isaki, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the Baylor D tackle he's talking about.
I think.
I think it's Isaki, something like that.
Yeah.
I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, I know.
But
yep. It's like Sayaki or whatever.
Sayaki.
Teriyaki.
Which is not bad. Okay, let's not make fun of the player's name now.
No, I'm thinking of teriyaki. I said teriyaki because I'm kind of in a mood for teriyaki, but you know. Listen,
But like I said,
I ain't brave enough to make fun of someone's name who's probably had burritos the size of me. So,
but it's still early. I know. Until the combine happens, we will know for sure what the Steelers are looking around. But
yeah,
it's very tough right now.
Once the season officially begins, or once the season officially ends, me and Jarryd will definitely be doing a whole lot of draft stuff. Well, obviously, the plan for this moment as of now is as of this moment, we're slotted for 2 mock drafts. There's a chance we might do a third. There's a chance we might do a third at some point, but we're almost guaranteeing right after the combine, in the week before the NFL draft, we'll do mock drafts for those. Maybe we'll do another one in between. Maybe. But other than that, we're going to be doing a lot of draft stuff. We'll be looking into a lot of the draft stuff. Maybe
we should have one before the combine just to see where our heads are at.
Maybe we might actually have to do that. See, and that's what I was saying. Maybe we do. Maybe one February. Maybe a little bit after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Just throw it just to see what go on basic position needs they need at most. Who needs the most?
Now, are you talking like a 7-round mock draft? Because I'm not good.
No. First round, 1 round.
Okay, that's no. I'm saying I didn't know if you were thinking like a Steelers 7-round draft.
If you want to do a Steelers 7-1,
see, I'm not good at those. I'll be honest, I'm not good at them at all.
I can give you the first 3 picks right now. That's pretty much it.
So first round
of the Steelers,
Jalen Carter. Second round, we're going to take Peter Skoronski. Third pick, in the third round, we're going. Our second first. That's where we're at. Okay, great. No, but no. At the end of the day, yeah. First round, and we're going to be talking a lot of draft just in general too. Maybe throughout time we'll post some of our thoughts on certain draft picks, certain draft prospects. Maybe me and Jarryd will start tweeting out a little bit more about stuff like that.
Christian Gonzalez, man, I'm in love with Christian Gonzalez. So gotta see more.
You know who? Right now, I wish Hunter was still in here. If you are, he'll vouch for me here. The way that you're right now with Christian Gonzalez is how I was with Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
That was
but now he's getting projected higher since everyone's talking about him. I get it. But like I said, the combine will tell us where you're going to be projected.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. So I'm going to be. Let me look at Christian Gonzalez real quick. Okay, 6'2". So I already like that right off the bat. I already like.
Yeah, he's a 6'2" corner, all around basically. You could do anything, bro. It's just.
So Steel Black says Gonzalez seems like an overhyped prospect. Wow.
Oh my God, bro! Watch the tape. I know it's overhyping right now, but I watched it before even more people talked about it. He's a good prospect right now.
I might actually go. You know what? I think at some point while I'm eating dinner, I might put on Christian Gonzalez tape, and I want to see. Because what's weird is the Steelers are not even looking for a quarterback, but just getting ready for because obviously I've started my draft process already. Going through the different players and stuff. And right now, for me, I'm just analyzing quarterbacks because, that's just the first thing that I'm doing. And so I've started to look up a couple different players, scouting them, watching their tape and stuff. I don't know if obviously you don't have a reason to watch it for the Steelers reason, but I've been watching some, just some of the different quarterbacks or whatever. And real quick, in your opinion, what would you rank Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis? In what order would you rank them?
That's crazy. I've been seeing some things Will Levis being number 2, which is kind of shocking to me.
It's not shocking to me at all. And there's one reason.
Why is that? Because I haven't been watching the quarterbacks really, besides Bryce Young.
The reason being is because teams will think that he could be Josh Allen 2.0. That is the exact reason there. And you watch him throw the football. You see his size. You see the frame. I totally see it. I mean, you see him in his game. But I think the way that some scouts might be, going overboard with the Josh Allen comparison. But that right there to me is it. I mean, similar arm strength. And I also believe he's going to have... I could also see him having a similar career path where I could see him totally struggling maybe his first year. Because remember, Josh Allen, his rookie year was putrid. Putrid. In the second year, he grew a little bit better. And then the third year, he became great. I could see something like that happening when it comes to Will Levis. I totally can.
I wish people could say the same thing about the development. Never mind, I'm not going to say it.
Go ahead and say it.
No. Joey Porter Jr. coming home. We'll see if he comes home still back. I don't know about that. I would love him to be on the Steelers, but
Porter Jr. is going to be our first round pick, and Osiris Torrance and DT out of Baylor. It will be that. No, Osiris Torrance, he's going to end up being a first round pick because there's not all that many guards, like interior offensive linemen. There's not all that many this year that are like truly good. Like right now, like for me, like Osiris Torrance and maybe Jarrett Patterson, like those are the two like interior linemen. Like this is not a big interior lineman draft. I mean,
it's not.
And tackles, like, even right now, like, there's maybe 4, maybe 5 as of right now. Peter Skoronski, Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, and Jalen Duncan from Maryland. I mean...
Maybe we'll learn more in the combine.
Right now it seems like a very heavy... Like, it's a heavily corner. If you're looking for a corner, this is the draft, which is ironic for the Steelers.
Still need one.
We need one. And I think that's where it's interesting about this, because you'll have 2 picks in the second round. So if you're looking at, unless you see 7 corners going in the first round, which I don't see that happening.
No way.
Maybe if you feel like there is a need that doesn't have as much depth, is not as deep, you go and use that. Like, say, just throwing this off the top of my head. Say, for example, you really want an offensive tackle, but you have a couple guys that you really feel like are great, and then the other ones, then there's a drop-off. So say I don't know, just throw a pick out. Say you're at pick 17. Peter Skoronski, Paris Johnson are gone. Are you going to take the chance that Broderick Jones and or Jalen Duncan or whoever, or Jared Sanchez is going to be there in the second round? Maybe you would rather go with that pick in the first round, and then to say if you want a corner, say you want maybe even a guy like Brian Branch, like or Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. I mean, if you were looking at, maybe you want to get one of those guys in the second round, depending on where you think, that's just kind of where we're at. And obviously, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen,
Oh, yeah.
But these are just like a random example.
I don't want another Witherspoon. Not to be mean.
You know what? I had a thought process with Devin Lloyd. I'm like, so we could have a linebacker with the first name Devin, or, which maybe not be the greatest, or we could have a linebacker with the last name Lloyd. That would be great.
Devin Lloyd's playing good, though. He's playing very well.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to be I think wide receiver is always going to be a position where teams are always, they're always going to want wide receivers. There's always going to be depth with wide receiver.
We're not getting Jordan Addison. Please
No,
stop saying that.
Thank you for saying that, because, oh my God, I've been wanting to pull my hair out when people have been trying to convince us, maybe we should get Jordan Addison. So we should just forget totally about offensive tackle. We should totally forget about the interior of the defensive line. We should totally forget about corners, but instead, no, let's just get another fancy toy in a wide receiver that we don't need in the first round. Oh my God. People were saying that here in Pittsburgh wanted Kenny Pickett strictly because he was a Pitt Panther. I know he went to USC, but that right there would be the example of only wanting a player because he went to Pitt. That would be it right there.
Because, listen, as much, we don't need a receiver. We still have Calvin Austin. Going to be back next season. We'll see if anything, they shouldn't. If honestly, I don't know if I would draft the receiver this year. Go sign a vet guy. That's how I see it this year.
How do I feel about my boy JSN falling? My thing is, for me, when it comes to JSN, at the end of the day, we're in an era now where players have to, they got to do what's best for them. Okay, so he hurt his hamstring against Notre Dame. He tries to play again and re-aggravates the injury. I know some friends who don't like JSN now because of, the way he handled things or whatever. At the end of the day, he's doing what's best for him. Jackson Smith-Njigba. Here's what's crazy. You want to know about Jackson Smith-Njigba? If I got to show you one game, it's obviously the Rose Bowl against Utah. But I'll put it in perspective here. When you have the names Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, two of those receivers were 10 and 11 in this year's draft. They were great wide receivers. Jackson Smith-Njigba might be the best one of those. And that is hard to do with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. When Jackson Smith-Njigba legitimately might be the best of those three, that should say something right there.
Now, if he falls at a certain place, but I doubt it. He's a first round.
Don't get me wrong. If he were to fall to the second round somehow, some way, do not get me wrong. My ass is going to be ready to go. I might be pounding the table for Jackson Smith-Njigba because at the end of the day, that dude is going to be a dog.
We don't need another receiver, though. We
but
don't.
No, at the end of the day, no, yeah. We definitely, I would love, for the first three picks, definitely offensive line, corner, defensive line. You give me those three with those first three picks, I am happy.
I wouldn't be upset with a linebacker.
No, that's another one too, but I also wouldn't be too mad with a linebacker.
Third. But I'm saying like third round. It could be. That's what I'm thinking. It could.
Or maybe is that a position you might want to try to go after in free agency?
It's very true.
Also, real quick, I want to say one more draft thing, and then we'll get on out of here. So I watched some tape of Quentin Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
First, when we get off here, go watch his highlights and tell me he doesn't instantly remind you of Martavis Bryant.
Oh, God.
He said, I heard JSN is falling to early third. No, that's not happening. The only way that I would see that happening is if that's the either the worst hamstring injury in the history of hamstring injuries, or they truly just don't believe his love of the game. That would be the only two reasons. And one of those obviously don't make sense because this is obviously not the worst hamstring injury in the history of hamstring injuries. And B, like I said, the real only logical answer is, do they not truly believe he has the love for the game? That'd be the only true reason. Because talent-wise, he could be the wide receiver one in this class. And he doesn't have a troubling history. It's not like he's been arrested. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, you can't tell me that Quentin Johnston from TCU does not look like Martavis Bryant 2.0, maybe without the issues off the field.
I miss Martavis, but yeah. I think I know who you're talking about, but I haven't watched much, but I know who you're talking about for sure. But it's gonna be interesting for draft. Like I think we do need a running back depth piece in the draft, honestly.
But
I love our 1-2
for Jaylen Warren.
Late. I'm late. Like seventh or sixth round. A fifth rounder, whatever we have. I don't even know. It's possible. Him and Jaylen Warren and Najee are good, but
Just another depth piece.
Is
I
it
don't know.
that, or
Maybe,
you just want another little toy to play with? That's good.
hey, maybe. we all want our toys to play with. That's all I can say.
I like
But,
it. The way that this conversation has been going, the way that this show has been going, maybe we're
Hey,
going.
what if BJ Robinson falls down there, huh?
DJ would shout out to DJ. DJ would be literally falling out of his chair like, what the hell is going on here? No, because Bijan Robinson he looks like Saquon Barkley. That man is looking like Saquon Barkley to me. But no, quick.
That's okay. That's okay for him to be a first round pick, huh? Top 5, top 6, or top 10.
More like top 230th. All I say is don't let another top 5 prospect fall to us in those rounds. Yeah.
And George Pickens.
Yeah. Real quick, one update for you guys before we get on out of here. On the poll that we did earlier, if the Steelers were to end up 9-8 this season, would this be considered a quote-unquote good year for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers? 78.6% say yes.
I guess, it satisfies them. Like, for me, will I be satisfied? Yes. But am I happy about it? No. I think that's just what it is. People are just saying, yeah, it's a good season. I think that's how people are coming from. But let's say, if you put the poll like yes and no, will you be satisfied, not satisfied? I guess it's the same thing. But it's like I'm not happy about I'm happy we went over 500. But I'm not satisfied.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this season, honestly. Maybe I'll wait till the end of the season. But other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys did enjoy. We actually gained a sub in the stream, so thank you. We're at 599.
Hey, one sub. Let's hit 600.
We need one more sub. I'd like to hit that before the end of the year. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Can we get one more subscriber for the end of the year?
One more, please.
But other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys did enjoy. And if you guys did, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, of course, as we just said. And until then, we will see you guys in 2023. It's going to be a great year. Cannot wait. But until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe. If you are going out for New Year's, please be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you need to call Uber or Lyft, not sponsored at all, but if you need to, don't start off the year on a bad note. Please just call Uber or Lyft, please. We don't need anyone getting killed or hurt or arrested. But till then, have a great week. Stay safe. Peace out.